So capturing and putting it on jewelry. I'm gonna describe this for you guys. What does it take? So what happens is like when you want to capture something and put it on jewelry, it's like you have to have the mindset for it. So mindset is something that you develop in time. You work on it. You study a lot, and you expose yourself in certain places where you go and get inspired and then get ideas. You see other artists, how they solder things together, how they pull the wires together, how, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a jeweler. It could be architecture or something, and just being there and seeing their workmanship, it was so inspiring. So you develop your mind so much that when you come back, you can put it on your jewelry and whatever you're doing. So capturing and putting it on jewelry, it's a lot of process. So I'm just describing you guys a little bit experience. It's an experience. Also, when you come back, you design those things. Some things gonna work, some things are not gonna work. So you have to build experience through what works and how much further you can push, using this idea, like putting it on real gold and and platinum, and silver, how much you can push. Each metal works a little bit differently, and how much you can bend and push. And another thing is like the designing part. Like you have to sit and design something that it works. When you design something that it works, you're able to like put your experience into it, put the workmanship into it, and get this thing really nicely solid made, that it's not dainty or it's not bulky. It's just right. It works perfectly. And then you have to build something like when you have a, let's say, stone, what kind of shape stone you're going to use, what kind of size stone that you're going to use. Especially the center stones are very crucial, because that's how the whole ring is going to get developed, right? If it's a marquee, it's going to get developed marquee way, or like square, going to get developed square. So rounds, it's going to get developed circular. So these are very important points when you putting something, capturing and putting something on making jewelry. So those are very crucial points, and designing very crucial too at that point, because now when you know about stones and shapes, now you have to design around it, like how I was describing. And so I have small story for you guys to like kind of understand what can happen when all these things fall into place. Like I had a retail shop, and I had a client. She came in and she had a bunch of gold that she didn't like using them anymore. It was old for her, but gold is always valuable. Like we can reuse the gold, recycle, and we can recycle all the diamonds and everything. So I took a bunch of diamonds for her, good sized diamonds, good gold, everything. So I designed this one pendant for her that when it was finished, she was like, oh my god, would never be able to buy something like this, because what I designed was like in retail form. That piece was like $5,000-6,000, and it costed her maybe like $1,000. So at that time when I did that, she was so excited, she was so happy, because there was like I know how to put things together that makes sense, and then some things does not make sense, I will tell the client not to use that. So it's not easy to capture jewelry on gold. So like you have to have so much experience, so much things that you've done that you can fall on, and so many ways that you've done this piece, that in the end you have to find the best way to finish this job. Because what we can do is we can use many ways of making this piece. We can use like pulling wires and putting things together, or we can carve wax, or we can do CAD designing, or we can have a plate of gold and then we can start cutting it, soldering it all together. There's so many ways of doing this. So capturing and putting it on jewelry, it's completely like a very wide open space where I understand, because I've done all of them. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I've developed jewelry for a long time, and this is how kind of it's been done. The stage when you start, when you finish, it's capturing and putting it on jewelry. The workmanship, it has its own flow, its own way of going, and you have to understand this, and then you have to go with it, because you're dealing with another person and you're trying to capture the idea what they have, and then putting it in your experience how you're gonna make this thing come true, and the closest or exact how it's gonna come. And yeah, that's why it takes a long time to be able to do this, to have the experience in one word. And this is what it takes to capture and put it on jewelry.